this morning at practice?
No, it was an optional, and he took it, and he was the only one, but he'll be playing tonight, so I'm not worried about him.
How impressed have you been with the way that line has played, particularly on the road trip?
They were really good, and hopefully it can continue. The more they play together, the better the continuity of the line gets, and the better they feel. We'd like them to be able to play at that level all the time.
Kuzmenko was joking that the pass he got from Miller in overtime, that anybody could score because it was such a great pass. But what about the finish he showed there, Bruce? The fact that he's getting into a zone now where he's much quicker with his releases and not hesitating.
Well, yeah, it's when he shoots. That's the biggest thing that he has to learn, continue to get better. And when there's a guy in front of him, he always wants to make the deke and everything else. But if you see him and just watch him when he's shooting the puck and there's nobody in front of him, his release is as good as anybody's. And and it's fun to watch because it's very accurate.
Bruce, over the course of this 6-game stretch with 5 wins, your power plays outscored the opposition by 6, the Pedersen line by 7. What sort of a weapon are they for you right now?
The power play or the Pedersen
line?
line?
Having outscored your power play, which has also been very good.
Yeah, no, they've been really good. But you need that if you want to win. If you don't get that, and you don't get the 3 and 4 lines going all the time, you're going to find yourself being a very mediocre team. And it's simple. When teams are going good, it's because everybody on the team is playing well. And that line felt it on that trip, and hopefully they continue to get better.
Niels Hoglander, working with Miller and what have you liked about that combination since you found it?
Well, he brings extra speed, and he's tenacious, and he's starting to learn how to work both ends of the rink a little bit, which has always been a little bit of his problem. And if he continues to do that, I think points and goals will follow. And he's had a little bit of a rough time getting them right now, but it's the process of doing the right things, and eventually they'll work out.
We often think of a puck battle winner who plays with sort of 2 higher-end finishers as being like a Chris Kunitz type, not necessarily a 5'9" guy like Nils, but is that sort of what you're looking for in terms of just maximizing how many touches?
Well, if you're looking for the perfect line, you're looking for that. It's something you can find, but he's tenacious on the puck and he's a fast skater. So those things should work out for him. Or hopefully anyway.
Bruce, it looks like Spencer's going to start tonight, and you've been alternating him the last couple of weeks. How tough is that when you've got a guy like Thatcher who probably needs to work his game back into where he wants, and big picture is the long-term starter for this organization?
Yeah, well, but the whole idea is not to all of a sudden he plays a couple good games, then give him 8 in a row. Spencer's been really good, but you want to bring it up a little slower for Thatcher, and then the next time he might start 2 in a row, and then it'll gradually get back to where he's the guy if he continues to play the way he's been playing. But you can't deny that Spencer's been great every time we've touched wood that we've put him out there. I don't know what his overall record is, but I think it's like 1 loss in 14 or 15 games. So you can't just sit there and say because Demmer's our number 1 guy and our future that we're going to forget about the guy that's gotten us into a pretty good position right now.
Are you seeing enough signs, Bruce, right now to believe that this hockey team's turning it around now and are on the right footing?
Well, I look at the NHL as a whole, and it's been so topsy-turvy where teams are winning 6, losing 6. We'd like to be consistently good, and I thought the way we played in Vegas and in Colorado, if we can continue to play like that, we're going to get more shares of the wins than losses. And they've been playing together, and everything is going well. But it's one of those things that you got to get ready and be ready to do that every night, or the league's too good. Somebody else will come in and take your job or take your position in the standings.
You guys sent Buck Colson and Rathbone down yesterday. Looking at Abbotsford's schedule, makes sense maybe to get them some games. Is that your mindset, and do you think they need that?
Young guys need to play. That's the biggest thing. We love both of those guys, but right now when we're playing fairly well, and it's no good for a Pods or or Rathbone to sit in the stands. We'd much prefer them to play. I mean, I was, being a minor league coach for a lot of years, understood, especially in Washington when we had really good young players. They had to play, and they developed to the point where they became the Capitals for 15 years. And that's what we're looking at. Pods is going to be an NHL player for a long time, and he's going to be back, and so's Jack. But I mean, if we've got enough guys and they're not playing, let's get them some ice time and get their confidence back up. Pods' confidence was probably at a little bit of a low ebb there, and so I think going down there and playing all situations, I think will really help him.
Alex is one goal away from tying Wayne
Oh,
for
no.
I know. I feel like I see you, Bruce. From tying him from the most road goals. What goes into performing on the road versus performing at home? You coached him.
Well, with a guy like Alex, it makes no difference. I mean, he loves the fans and everything, but he comes to play every night. So I mean, scoring goals is what he does, and it's just you could play on the moon, and Alex would give it his best, and he'd do well. So I mean, it's not surprising that this is another record or milestone that he's going to achieve. I just hope he does it in Seattle.
Do you think he catches Gretzky? Do you think he's going to stick around long enough to see he's obviously one of the greatest, but do you think he's the greatest pure goal scorer we've seen?
Well, I think, as you know, I'm a real big Alex fan, and I think he's going to do it because he's just strong-willed enough to stay around to do it. And I mean, he's going to get 30 plus again this year. So I mean, and if he can stay healthy, and luckily he's been healthy for most of his career, I would think he would do it.
Luke Shan says, you know what's coming, and it comes and it goes in. Like, how does that happen? What is it that makes him be able to do that? Because like the guy says, they know it's coming.
He's a special athlete. I mean, that if you make a mistake, he's going to put it in. You go to baseball, if you make a mistake on Judge, it's going out of the park. If in football, if you made a mistake, Brady's going to hit you for a touchdown. And it's the same here. Like, everybody for 17 years knows where Alex is on the power play, knows what's going to happen, and he's still, and we all do everything we can to try to stop him, but I mean, he still finds a way to get it in. He's so smart offensively that people don't realize how smart he is.
Bruce, you've, over the course of your 2 seasons here, had a sort of bottom 6 line, whether it was the Lamico, Mott, Highmore group, or now with Amon and Joshua, where you tend to put them into pretty tough matchups and sort of create a different environment for your classic top 6. How do you view the role and what you're looking for from the Amon line at the moment, but in comparison to how you used Lamico last season?
Well, in a perfect world, I mean, first of all, I have confidence in all of those guys, and they've been playing great. There's no doubt. You'd like to be able to start them in your own D zone, so you don't have to waste a Bo Horvat or Petey in your D zone. And if they could ever get to the point where they can play, at least a third of the time or 2/3 of the time against the other team's top line, that frees your offensive lines up against the other team's probably 3rd or 4th line, which would make it great. But I mean, I've always been a big believer, ever since I got in this league, that if you have 4 good lines, and you have a great chance of winning the majority of your games. And I still believe that. And you look back at all the Cup winners in the last 15 years, that their 4th line has been a real big part of the team, and very few times has it just been a 1-line team or a 2-line team that wins the Cup.
Thanks, Bruce.
Okay.
Thanks, Bruce.